Is it Machiavellian for George Washington to cross that river and slit everyone's throats and kill them in their sleep? Was he being a Machiavellian? Was George Washington woke right when he did that? It's entirely possible that he was woke right.
So it's funny because he was definitely being Fabian, not the Fabian you think, but like Fabian tactics, like Fabius. Is it Quintus?
What can you?
Is it Quintus Fabius? I want to say Maximus, but I'm not sure. But Fabius, yeah.
What are those tactics?
It's basically hit and run tactics, guerrilla tactics. Hit their supply lines, harass them, annoy your enemy, prevent them from engaging in pitched battles, which are like the huge set piece battles with tens of thousands of people on each side. Okay. Yeah, you just like death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So I don't want to get into woke right or whatever, but definitely Fabian, because I mean, like it's David and Goliath. Like if you're David, you're not going to walk up to Goliath and punch him in the face.
No, exactly.
It's over for you. Like, you're going to play to your advantages, of course.
Exactly. So. I actually did want to do it at one point. So another episode on James Lindsay, and it was a few months ago. I listened to one of his podcasts, and he was talking about what woke is, and I'm pretty sure that we can just show the clips, like the audio clips, or I think it was just the audio clips of him saying what woke is, and then show him to be woke. Because he often will say that woke is about waking up to the fact that you're being oppressed and that you have an obsession with like marginalized or like information and ways of viewing the world that have been marginalized. And it's okay, but James Lindsay woke up to the fact that the world is controlled by globalists and that our classical liberal foundation has been worn away. So James Lindsay woke up to that fact and then sought out esoteric information about the origins of like the Second Enlightenment with classical liberalism in order to try to bring that back. So that's the problem with James, is that when he empties out the content, like all the queer and the critical race theory content, is that almost anything can be painted as woke if you view that worldview as not some sort of absolute. I do want to do one of those episodes. We'll either do that, or I might just do a standalone episode on that. We'll see.
No, because I got stuck on the part where you defined woke as waking up to the fact that you're being oppressed. Like, is that that's the definition?
That's one of them. That there's lots of.
No, I mean, that's a terrible definition of woke, because if that's the definition of woke, then the only way to be unwoke is to have power, to be a politician, I guess, or to be retarded.
Well, yeah, and okay. also like sometimes people are actually being oppressed. So it's like what is
hold on. I mean, I'm just shocked. Like, wait, a government is taking advantage of their citizens and is making political and like policy decisions that go against their people, that favor their elites or favor a foreign the elites of another foreign nation. What a fucking surprise! Like that's woke. Like okay, I guess. Yeah. If that's woke, then like
Lindsay, I mean,
everyone's mom is woke then. Like, that's just so
James Lindsay. So it was funny because one of James Lindsay's like chief acolytes, who I used to be I don't know, friends with, but I talk to him all the time. And I made a post about that, about how like basically that anything that is not based in Scottish sense common realism is woke, right? I made a post about that. Yeah. And he saw that and he ended up, I'm pretty sure he blocked me because of that, because all of a sudden I was just blocked. And I know that a friend that I'm still not friend, an acquaintance that I'm still acquaintances with, she talks to me, but she talks to him more. I'm pretty sure she told him, because he made this long thread in response to that without actually naming me. He didn't call me out. And he posted about how no, it's not just Scottish common sense realism, but then he basically laid out 3 to 4 different types of ideologies or whatever that are also not woke, but each one of them involved realism. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said Scottish common sense realism. I should have just said realism. Anything that is not realism in your eyes is woke. It's because of like my one like my one mistake of specifically identifying Scottish common sense realism, that's what he got me on and made an entire thread about it. I was like, come on, bro. Like, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It seems I don't understand the blocking though. Like
yeah.
Why the blocking? If these are the people who are saying like we should follow the Constitution, they don't understand what the spirit of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all of that is. Like, okay, let's have a discussion of things. Let's use our rights for the furtherance of spreading liberty to the citizen. Let's have a fucking talk. Like, I don't understand why mentioning like, does he hate gingers? Is it because of Scottish? Like, I don't understand.
No,
like,
because I don't know, because like, okay, like, well, people are like, oh, you don't like free speech because you're blocking. It's like, well, no, like if you come across someone in the street or you don't want to talk to anybody anymore, what do? You walk away from it, right? So a block is basically you walking away from that person, exercising your rights.
Because this is a person you spoke to previously in the
we stopped talking. I was in a group chat with all of them. I was always the one to start these group chats. I was always like the instigator because I wanted to talk about stuff. And we were in a group chat. And when Joel Berry said that, he's like, a lot of you aren't going to want to hear this, but any openly practicing Christians in Gaza are Hamas sympathizers, because he was claiming that they don't allow people at all to openly profess Christianity without being sympathizers to them, right? And I was just like, well, that seems like a really broad statement, and also a very easy statement for you to make as you sit in your ivory fucking tower in the United States, as these Christians are forced to preach the word under horrible conditions, surrounded by a bunch of insane fucking. So I got really annoyed, and I was like, and this guy, Lindsay's acolyte, was like, oh, it's an active measure. It's an active measure against Joel Berry. You know what is in his heart. I'm like, first off, only God knows what is inside of a person's heart. And I was like, and so he basically said that because everyone was running, and a lot of people were running a bad faith struggle session against Joel Berry from the Babylon Bee. That's not what I was doing. I was just like, this is a very definitive statement for someone to make, and it's questionable to me. But because I did that, he viewed me as if I was acting as a part of a struggle session. And then he also accused me of giving him an affordance trap, which is where you give someone two options and neither option are good. So you're basically setting an affordance trap for them, which is what the woke do. So at that point, he's like, oh, Patrick, you're woke, right? What's hilarious, and I'll land my plane here. What's hilarious is that 2 weeks before that, he set an affordance trap for me. And I just said, I was just like, well, I don't think I have to take either of those two options. I think there's another option. But with him though, this is like all these slang terms, affordance trap, active measure, all Gnosticism, all of it. It's like a religion to him. So he takes it very personally if he views it. And he's like, how dare you do this to me of all people? I was like, wow. And you could guess who this is. We won't say his name, but I'm pretty sure you know who this is. I'm like, bro, like, it's just, and I don't know. It was just so frustrating.
But these people would block you and then make an argument about something that you said
from behind a block. Yeah.
Behind a block. And it's like, oh, you're just saying that you're a pussy. Like, you're saying you can't actually have the conversation because you're scared of getting any kind of, you get scared when you get pushback that is unorthodox pushback. That's the thing. That's the thing. Here's the thing for a lot of these influencers, and I've seen this with
they won't touch Bugman. They won't go anywhere near. Well, actually, it's funny. The classical libs, they never. James Lindsay went after Jonathan Peugeot, an Orthodox Christian, once, and it did not end well for him. And so none of them will ever touch any of the Orthodox Christians. They can just stay completely away from them.
Look, the best thing I can link it to is it's like a Ben Shapiro will have arguments with every single liberal college student, but he won't, like, it's like he'll avoid certain people. Like, perfect example. He'll have every argument with any 20-year-old except if their name starts with Nick and ends in Fuentes. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, because he's terrible and evil and whatever. And it's like, well, one, you sort of mainstream that Ben Shapiro by sort of putting him in on blast. Like, if you are a big account and you put on blast a tiny account and then they become huge, you're part of that. Like, that you're bearing that cross or
That's
whatever you want to call it.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, is because they're actually, they're very obsessed. They don't think that you can talk about like the shocking amount of Jewish people that are on the left. Like the majority of people in the US vote Democrat. And there's a specific reason why they do that. Just like black people vote Democrat and queer people vote Democrat. There's literally a specific reason. And so they'll tell you why black people do that, CRT. They'll tell you why queer people do that, critical queer theory. They'll tell you that, but they won't go into the Jewish thing. They hint at it once in a while, and they specifically don't do it because they think there's like a sort of a psychological operation going on with trying to demonize Jews. And of course, there is a bunch of people are trying to do that. But to me, they're actually playing into the dialectic by saying, don't look over here. Don't look over here. If you do, you're just a Jew hater. And then so somebody's gonna be like, wait, what? No, look at this evidence. They're like, no, you just hate Jews. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll go listen to Nick Fuentes. So that's one of the thing is, the reason he blocked me is because now that he thinks that I'm woke, they do not talk to anyone that they think is woke, because they think that the woke person will try to pull them into what they call their wizard circle in order to try to manipulate them by getting them to argue about the topic through their lens. And of course, if you're woke, that is true. 100% fundamentally true. That's all woke people do. I debate some of these people, and I'm constantly just pushing back against their worldview, negating it, and then going into my own thing. But I'm like, if you want by this strategy, then like no one would ever have a debate about anything contentious ever in the history of mankind. It's just, it's so silly. It's so silly.
Hey, Patrick, I had a realization. Like, this might seem just purely, absolutely retarded, but I think I figured something out.
What's that?
So fun fact, I like magic. I think it's awesome and hilarious, like card tricks. Like, I love that shit.
That's fun. Good times.
Yeah. And you know what's really interesting about that? Like, if I'm a person and my whole shtick is I expose wizards and spellcasters. Yeah. What does that make me? A wizard, a spellcaster. It's like these people, like, I forgot, there's like this TV show that was like exposing like magicians' tricks, and it's like,
on Fox. It was really popular.
It's like, okay, well, who are the people who can figure out magician tricks? Magicians.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that
maybe I should stop listening to your 14-page expose on X that you post 3 times a day. Yeah. Maybe you're the spellcaster. This is the issue. Here's my definition of woke. Very easy. If you are a bitch about a topic, if you refuse to talk about something, you're fucking woke. There you go. Left-wing woke, right-wing woke, like libertarian woke. Let's put it communist woke. Let's just go all in. Woke is like theology. You can shove that anywhere and make it function.
And the thing is,
in a completely messed up way, but you can still make them function.
Yeah, and the thing is, James Lindsay's followers have openly confessed to me that they are lying and about certain things by omission largely, and casting their own spell because they view it as a part of the greater good. They've openly admitted this to me.
We're countering counterspell. Oh, let me see. It's a fucking spell. Like, a counter spell is a spell, bitch.